Hello and welcome to Morning Call for Wednesday, the 21st of August, 2019. I'm Fab from Hamburg and I'm here to bring you the tech news. Hope you're having a good day. Moin moin Aski, how are you doing? We of course have some Gamescom news because Gamescom has started and I thought I'll lead with that. As always, I'll lead with coffee. And I see once again, no, I will have to fix something because my date is wrong. I forgot to change the date here on the display. Ooh, how do we do this? How can we best do this? Just give me a second. I need to find the right folder. Oh God, that's an M. Morning call. It's in a file. I need to change the file. So what's today? Today's Wednesday, the 21st, because yesterday was the 20th. My birthday. Oh, by the way, happy birthday to Mike. Don't know if he's watching. Friend of the channel, still there on the latest sub. Long time supporter of the channel who also recently had his birthday. I forgot about that on Monday. His birthday was on the weekend, and I had so much to do that I kind of forgot about that. Anyway, so that's fixed. So let's get into the news. Gamescom happening in Cologne, as every year. I'm kind of happy I didn't have to go this year. Didn't have any reason, job related really. So, and it's over my birthday period as well. So I was like, I'd rather stay home. I don't need crowds at the moment. But you know, everything that happens on Gamescom is widely reported, so we can catch you up from home. So what do we got? So Golem has a basically review of the opening show, which happened yesterday, or I think even the day before. I think yesterday was the first real day of Gamescom, and the day before. Not really big things. There was Death Stranding stuff from Kojima, obviously. I don't understand what that game's about, and I've never been a big Kojima fan. He seems a bit Chris Roberts to me. Not as in, I mean, Kojima actually gets his games finished. That's not what I mean. I mean, he seems like another one of these makers who really wants to be a film director. Anyway, so it's Norman Reedus and some bullshit. They showed some gameplay where basically the character wakes up and then you can see like the fill level of his bladder in like milliliter amounts, and he pees in the grass and everybody's applauding, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? Is this an Apple is this an Apple event? Why are they applauding bullshit like that? Anyway, so they talked about that. It's coming out in November on the PlayStation. If you're interested in that, there is news that THQ Nordic is doing a remake of Comanche, somehow with drones and also drone combat. I loved Comanche back in the day, but this doesn't really look like Comanche. You know, it's old school. Like it was one of the first games with voxel graphic, I think. Like the helicopters and everything was sprites, but like the terrain was voxel, I think. Yeah, so THQ Nordic, I don't know. I'm still asking where the hell's my Equinox remake? I mean, um, they were pimping that, I think, Gamescom when I was there 2 years ago, I think, already. They were talking about that, and it's still not coming out. I've got it like favorited in Steam, and it's like coming soon. And it's been like that for 2 years, so I don't think that game's getting developed. Don't know about Comanche. That's supposed to be in early access start of 2020. Maybe they pivoted to that because they couldn't get Equinox to work or something. Um, Developed by a team called Nuclear, which sounds like George W. Bush is trying to pronounce nuclear something something. Sega has um, has contracted Amplitude Studios to make their own Civ version. Amplitude Studios are the guys with endless space, endless dungeon, so they know their shit when it comes to 4X games. Yeah, it'll be like Civ. It'll be like millions of years of civilization or something. And it's called Humankind, which I think is a shitty name, but it just sounds weird. I mean, it's called Mankind. You know, Mankind isn't only males. Jesus Christ, Humankind just sounds weird. Anyway, so that's coming out. Anno stuff, new Anno content. And oh yeah, Kerbal Space Program 2 was announced. That is actually really exciting. And also, The Witcher 3 is coming to the Switch on the 15th of October. I've actually haven't played The Witcher, never get around to it. Not 3. Um, Now that I have a Switch, might buy that on the Switch. Actually, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the Link's Awakening remake that's coming next month, I think. End of September, I think. Really looking forward to that. Age of Empires. Microsoft has announced that Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition will come out on the 14th of November. The first one wasn't exactly a hit. Still remember, so this is a news story on Heise by my good colleague, ex-colleague Martin Fischer. Sadly, ex-colleague. I kind of miss him. He's a great guy. And I can remember we were together when they announced or when they showed the Age of Empires 1 Definitive Edition at Gamescom. That was 2 years ago. Might have been 3, right? Oh god, yeah, I think that was 2017. Yeah, that was 2 years ago. So I can remember they announced Age of Empires 4. Is it? They were gonna make a new one, and they showed like a trailer that was basically animated art. And then yeah, nothing ever came of that game. So don't know if that's even gonna be released. Maybe they announce that later, but. Yeah, remake of Age of Empires 2, of obviously one of the most beloved strategy games of all time. This is a new campaign, The Last Khans, and 4 new civilizations, and obviously the old game. And yeah, 4K graphics. Interesting. Yeah, that's all the stuff so far from Gamescom I found interesting. We'll see. Obviously, lots of stuff being announced, but we'll see. I'll keep you updated as the week progresses. Why is my camera so dark? Just give me a second. Make some more light here. Huawei. Back to the trade war. Huawei is fighting with words. They are winding up the rhetoric. As the register says, Huawei goes all art of war on us, switches on battle mode, and vows to dominate the world. I mean, I had talked about this earlier. They're putting out all these memos with this rhetoric, and I love the teaser there on the register going full Sabaton with the main battle tank and art of war and all of that. Maybe Huawei needs to just contract Sabaton like for a gig or something. And meanwhile, Trump is pushing back the import restrictions more and more. So it seems like he's kind of blinking. And meanwhile, the Chinese are gearing up. They're like, yeah, we know about this stuff. Huawei CEO is like, I've been reading Sun Tzu. I know how to beat him. So that's interesting. There, a report came out. I found this also very interesting. Backdoor in Webmin. Webmin obviously being a really old school control panel kind of application, like for hosting, controlling websites. Like, if you're not doing any of this fancy cloud stuff, this is like old school. You would rent a server, and often you wouldn't get root access, but you'd get like Webmin access, and then you could configure everything through Webmin. Turns out Webmin for over a year had actually two backdoors in it that would allow unknown attackers to like compromise your Webmin accounts, and then obviously compromise your servers. And interestingly, these backdoors were in the code that you would download from SourceForge, but they're not in their GitHub repository. So their code, the downloaded code, like the stuff they had in their official like download stuff was different from their GitHub repository, and they didn't notice. And interestingly enough, somebody noticed about a year ago, because there was some error, like that backdoor code produced some error messages, and somehow he told the developers about the suspicious code, but it seems like they didn't figure out that it was a backdoor. Until now, where there was a report, obviously at DEF CON, security conference in Las Vegas, about this. And that's obviously really, really bad. Like, if you're a software project like that, I mean, it's an open source project, but this is like highly security sensitive place, right? Server admin, and if somebody can upload the stuff, SourceForge has looked into it, and they're saying this is the code that was actually uploaded by the project. So somebody must have gotten credentials. The investigation is still ongoing. Webmin has written a post about this, saying that they fixed it. I did like how in the last paragraph they're saying, anyway, we're all a little grumpy as we needed to drop everything and sort out what happened, figure out how to fix it, and get new releases rolled out immediately. So it's basically saying, pissed off at the security researchers, we're all a little grumpy. I'm like, what? You're a little grumpy? You're fucking somebody managed to put a backdoor in your official release code. That code differed from your GitHub, and you didn't notice? Like, somebody even pointed you at that thing a year ago, and you didn't fucking notice? Like, you only noticed when there was like a Git DEF CON talk about this, and now you're a little bit grumpy? I mean, the fucking users who had their servers put at risk by you, they're the ones who should be grumpy. I mean, Jesus Christ. This doesn't seem like a software project you want to use for this kind of stuff. I mean, what the hell's going on? So there are two backdoors. The one in a newer version of Webmin. So that's they fixed that with version 1.9.30. The newer versions, it only affects if you have a function enabled that users can change their passwords. That is not enabled by default, which people are saying, well, then it doesn't affect so many instances. I'm like, isn't that a function you would immediately enable? Like, what? Don't you want users to be able to change their own passwords? And then there is a backdoor in an older version. They fixed that with 1.780, so 1.780, and that was also in the default in the default installation, just default settings. So either way, very bad. Fix your webmin. And I don't know, am I the only one who thinks that's kind of software? Like if that's their reaction, there should be like fucking, we're sorry, mea culpa, we fucked up, and we will now look at our security procedures, have a really hard look, and like a soul searching exercise, and we'll never fuck up like that again. Jesus. Yeah. That's all the hard news for today, basically. Got some 2 stories to ease ourselves out of the show here. One is that the oldest webcam in the world, or the oldest still working, so the oldest continuously working webcam in the world, that is fogcam.org, which is at the university in San Francisco, is being switched off after 25 years because basically it's not an official webcam of the university, and the people running it were kind of they need to move it several places. They need to find a secure way to where to put it, and since the university is not helping, they don't really have a nice view anymore, and so they're switching it off. So back in 1995, Dash Schwartz says he just learned about oh, I have a new follower. Thank you very much. He just learned scripting and then made like a webcam, and he was inspired by actually the first webcam ever, which was the Trojan Room coffee pot cam, where like researchers, it was just like a webcam pointed at the coffee pot, because the researchers from several labs, they didn't want to go to the coffee pot because it was a long way, like on different floors, and they wanted to see if there's actually coffee in there, which is an excellent use for a webcam, probably the best use for a webcam. Yeah, so that's been switched off. That's a bit sad, although I mean the view isn't really exciting. If you look at the SF Gate story here, it doesn't look that exciting. And then I just have a story that I thought we should all think about, and maybe you want to read. It's kind of an interesting read. So Kieran McCarthy on the Register, he's their US correspondent, had his laptop stolen in a coffee coffee shop. He was just sitting there working, as we journalists often do. Sometimes you want to get out of the home office or whatever, out of the office. And somebody came in, grabbed his laptop, ran away. He sprinted after him. The guy ran to a car with an open door and was gone. And he remembered, he noted down the license plate, but he saw that it looked kind of flimsy, and basically it was a fake license plate, like printed out and fixed over the real one. And I just wanted to, just something we all, when you're in a public place, just remember there are people just going around grabbing phones, smartphones, laptops, and it's really bad. And you better have like encryption or something. I mean, even though they might be able to get around it if the laptop stays on, right? Although, I mean, people stealing MacBooks in coffee shops, they probably just want to sell the device. They'll nuke it, I guess. So he had iCloud security on, and he was like he locked the PC, but like the PC wasn't online at the time, and or was online in a coffee shop, but then later probably wasn't online anymore. He couldn't see it, so it's not gonna lock itself. And if these guys are careful, they're not gonna put it on the internet. It's harder to do with a smartphone, right? You kind of like a LED box or something. Or if it's open, unlocked, you can turn flight mode on. But with a laptop, once it's out of the Wi-Fi range and you don't connect it to another Wi-Fi, that one's probably gone. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about that because I thought that was an interesting read. So on the Register, my MacBook woe, I got up close and personal with City Snatch and Dash crooks, aka some bastard stole my laptop. On the Register, thief swipes wreck vulture's computer from under his fingers in cafe. Here's what happened next. Interesting story. Good on him for writing it up, I thought. Anyway, that's it for me for today. Hump day today. So, guys, hang in there. You know, at work or whatever you're doing. Don't have your laptop stolen. And I see you tomorrow with some more tech news. Until then, toodle pip.